लाइक, शेयर, सब्सक्राइब, ये इस चैनल के 3 स्तंभ हैं। इन्हें दबाइए और आगे की वीडियो को एंजॉय करें।
Namaste and welcome back. So once we have trained our model, it is very important to evaluate it, to check whether it is predicting with a good accuracy or not, it is not overfitting. We have to take all these concerns into consideration. Hence, choosing a good accuracy matrix is very important. And for that, you should have knowledge for all of the accuracy matrices, and you should able to find that what accuracy matrix is good for your model. Okay, so in this video we are going to discuss about accuracy metrics for linear regression or any regression problem. There are around 5 accuracy metrics that we are going to discuss, and this video provide you very logical way to go through each of the metrics and see the advantages and disadvantages of each of the metrics. So let's start. Suppose that we are solving a predictive modeling problem and we have our data set like this, and we have some data points here and there, and what we do, we fit a best fit line to these data just like this. Okay, so for this particular yi, this is the ith target variable, I can have some predicted yi. So my yi is the actual value, that is the actual value, and yi cap is the predicted value. And now I want to find that how accurately this line fits my data. So I will go through some of the accuracy metrics for a regression problem. So the first intuition came is that this is the deviation. Suppose for this is the deviation. Again, this is the deviation. This is the deviation. This is the deviation. This is the deviation. So what I do, I take this deviation, yi minus y cap is the deviation, and I put a mod here, okay, and I average it out. So this matrix, of course, summation or I equal to 1 to n. N is the total number of observation. N is observations. So this is the averaged out deviations. So this is called MSE, that is the mean, MAE, that is the mean absolute error. This is the mean absolute error. So let us try to figure out what are the advantages and disadvantages of the mean absolute error is. Okay, so the first example, first advantage what I can say is that it represents the average error. Average error. Now anything representing average, it is very greatly interpretable. We can interpret it very easily, and this is the first intuition of all the matrices we have. Secondly, units are same as y. If the y here target variable, if it has the unit of meter, then this mean absolute error would have same units of the target variable. So this is also one of the advantages. But the greatest disadvantage for this metric is that it is not differentiable. When you are dealing with complex algorithms such as deep learning algorithms or higher forms of linear regression, you will always want to select those cost functions, those metrics that are differentiable, because we are implementing gradient descent on that, and gradient descent involves computation of gradients. So if it is not differentiable, we cannot compute any gradients. Okay, so this was the major drawback of MAE, mean absolute error, and that is why what we do just a minute change, that instead of these modulus we put a square. So mean squared error, that is 1 by n, I equal to 1 to n yi minus yi cap whole square. So this is the mean squared error, and we know that it is differentiable now, hence we can use it for gradient descent. Then it is kind of doing average but just squaring the deviations. And one more thing that I would like to point out is that unit is not same. That is only the one kind of drawback for this. And this squaring thing, adding one more benefit to the problem is that it is penalizing the outliers. This squaring thing, adding one more benefit to the problem is that it is penalizing the outliers. Okay. Suppose we have 1,000 examples and after the 1,000, one example is an outlier. So our model will predict something which would be an average of the 999 values. Okay, something near to that 999 values. So for that outlier also our model will predict some values which are close to the remaining 999 values. So in that case, to penalize that outlier, the deviation, suppose that this is an outlier and this is the model predicting, so this deviation is huge and we are squaring this deviation. Hence this the error in this is the huge error, okay, and this error is greatly penalized in this thing. Okay, so this is another advantage of mean squared error. Now what we do, just to match the units are not same. If it is meter, this is meter square. So just to match the unit, we put in square root here. So it is 1 by n summation yi minus yi cap whole square, and just I take a square root. So this is called RMSE. That is the root mean squared error, one of the most common accuracy metrics that is used in any regression problem. So we have solved all the problems. The average error thing, units are same. It is differentiable. It is penalizing the outlier also. Now we have also heard that there is a metric called R square. So why do we need R square when RMSE is satisfying all the things? So there is one drawback of interpretability. Suppose I tell you that I have model 1, okay, model 1 with RMSE equal to 1000 and model 2 of RMSE equal to 1 lakh or 10 lakh, maybe 10 lakh, okay. So I do not tell you that what model 1 is predicting and model 2 is predicting. They can be predicting same thing, they can be predicting different things. Now which model is better? If I ask you this question, you won't be able to answer. Okay, and if you say model 1 is better, then I must say that you are wrong. If, let us suppose, let us see. So if model 1 is predicting something called, let's say, mortality rate, okay, or number of deaths per month, then 1000 is something which is close to that number, okay, and 1 lakh something like population growth of a town, okay, like per month population growth, then 1 lakh is something close to that number. So I cannot tell that which model is better by just seeing RMSE, okay, but I can tell if I have a model 3 with RMSE 75,000 for population of a town, then I can say that model 3 is much better than model 2. But I cannot compare model 1 and model 2, first thing. Secondly, I cannot say that can I improve model 1 or model 3 more. Is there a chance, is there something remaining on which I can improve the model? So that is why we need a new metric, and that is called the R square. R square. Okay, so R square is defined as 1 minus summation yi, the actual value, minus yi cap, that is the predicted value, whole square, divided by summation of yi, that is the actual value, minus yi bar, or I must say y bar, that is the average value of all the target variables. So doing 1 minus will give me the R square. Now R square, this term, this number would represent the variance of target variable explained by the model. Okay, so what R square represent? This term represent. This is representing the percent of variance of the target variable explained by the model. If let us say we have two extreme values now. Now the R square term is the variance of target variable explained by the model, and R square varies from 0 to 1. Okay, so we have two extremes, that is R square equal to 0 and R square equal to 1. Okay, now let us say whatever we are putting in the model is predicting a single quantity, that is the y bar. For any of the variable, the model is predicting that the output is y bar. Hence, no variance has been explained by the model because it is predicting same value, and that is equal to the mean. So if all the yi caps are equal to y bar, that means these both terms become equal and the value of r square becomes 0. Hence r equal to 0, r square equal to 0 means no variance has been explained. That means r square to 0 corresponds the worst model. And similarly r square would correspond to the best model. R square corresponds to the best model. So I think we have the R square thing from this side. So this is R square, do this thing, and we have the extremes. So if R square is more nearer to 1, the R square value is more nearer to 1, we will have a better model. So if I ask that if R square for this model is let's say 85, R square for this is 0.75, and R square for model 3 is 0.95. Okay, so what I can interpret is that this model is worse than this model. Model 3 is better. But I can also say that if I can attain R square is equal to 0.95, okay, it is possible, then I can improve this model also. I can do, okay, I understand that both of the models are predicting different things, but yes, we can improve on that. If this R square value would be around 0.98, 0.97 and RMS is 1000, then it is okay, then it is a good model. But if it is 0.5, we have a chance to improve that model. So this was R square. Now again, R square is a dimensional less quantity varying between 0 to 1. So R square is of course differentiable. It penalizes the outlier, and we have we have no interpretability issues. Okay, if it is close to 1, then we can say that it is a good model, and if it is close to 0, it is the worst model. Now what one more thing is remaining, and that is the adjusted R square. Now the question arises that why we need adjusted R square. The answer is overfitting. Okay, this is the reason why R square is not sufficient and we need adjusted R square in picture. So what happens, let us see. So first of all, let us define the adjusted R square, and it is defined as 1 minus R square. This is the normal R square value written here into n minus 1 upon n minus k minus 1. Okay, so let us see what is n and k is. N is the number of observations, okay, and k is nothing but number of features. Now let us ask the question that why overfitting problem happen. If we have lots of features which are useless, which are just adding noise to the model, it will overfit your data. Why? Because your model will try to train itself on the noise that the unusual predictors are providing to the model. You have a useless feature, it will have lots of noise, and your model will try to fit that noise. Now once it is fitted that noise, it will perform worst on the test set, on the new data. Hence, in that condition, you will get a problem of overfitting. So R square is not able to explain explain that the model is overfitting or not. Okay, so that is the reason why we need the adjusted R square. which can which can tell us that yes, your model is overfitting the data. So if we have a large number of features that are adding just to the noise, in that case k would be much larger. Okay, so if k is larger, this term would be smaller, so this whole term would be larger, and 1 minus larger would reduce the adjusted r square. Okay, so adjusted r square would be less than the r square, hence it is telling that your model is overfitting in the case when k is large. Okay, so this is the requirement for r square, why we need r square. And this is again, if r square is differentiable, okay, this is differentiable, adjusted r square is penalizing the outliers. So we have the best matrix. Now the question arises that